Hey everyone, you are listening to Sandcast, per usual, beach volleyball with Triborn and Travis Mawerder. Today we're going to do something a little bit different, something that we have never done before, because as anybody knows, anybody listening to this is obviously in the beach volleyball world, and anybody in the beach volleyball world has heard about the sudden passing of a very good friend of mine and roommate, Eric Zaun, who was a tremendous player, and more than that, just a phenomenal human being. Brought more joy and exuberance and character and zest to life than anybody I know. And so we're going to re-air Zaun's episode from a little bit less than a year ago. So it was titled at the time, Eric Zaun, the Happy Gilmore of the AVP Tour. So we're going to re-air that episode, which is what will follow. But what I wanted to do is carve out 30 seconds after this introduction just for a moment of silence for one of my best friends and one of the best people that you could have ever meet. And anybody who did get in touch with Eric and who knew him, you know what a blessing that was and how grateful we should all be to anybody who got to know him and who got to have a relationship and who got to share some of those road dog stories with them. So I'm just going to leave the next 30 seconds completely blank as just a brief moment of silence for Eric Zaun, who loved that kid to death, and enjoy a throwback episode of Eric, and may his words and spirit live on, either through Sandcast or through stories being either told or written about him or videos, and enjoy. This is Sandcast, beach volleyball with Triborn and Travis Mawerder, presented as always by our good friends at volleyballmag.com. We have our guest with the most drinks we've had on a podcast. Zaun, you have 2 opened up, 1 ready to go, and an entire 12-pack of seltzer water.
Yeah. All non-alcoholic.
Yeah. I was just in the sauna with the boys. So, yeah, we bring cases of seltzer in there.
Really?
Yeah. So we've been having spa night a lot.
Spa night with the boys.
Yeah.
Little seltzer water.
Yeah. It's like real good for after the workout.
Good for morale.
Sauna, yeah.
You're big on morale these days.
You got to keep morale high. It's extremely important. I've actually been going by Danny Fahrenheit lately.
Yeah. Can you give us a little background on Danny Fahrenheit and Tony Bronzer?
Okay. Well,
who moonlights as Chris Vaughn.
What the hell is going on here?
Well, you introduced me as Eric Zaun. I've been going by Danny Fahrenheit.
All right.
So
give us a little background, Danny.
I was doing a little independent research on temperature, and I discovered that Danny Fahrenheit is the guy that invented the thermometer, which is really cool.
Kinda.
I thought that was a really good name, but like the rest of the world goes by Celsius, and that guy made the thermometer. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. So I just like the name, and I don't really like the name Eric that much, so I've just been going by.
Oh, really?
Danny
How long have you been going by Danny Fahrenheit?
Since I discovered that, which was in like May.
Okay.
On and off.
It's relatively new. Has it caught on yet?
Depends on who you ask. Well, you can say stuff.
Well, it is now.
Yeah.
Now it's on
This is huge for me. Yeah, millions of people listen to this. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you can say like it's heating up in here, or do like other temperature playoffs. So it's definitely heating up in here right now.
What does Piotr call you? Does he hit you with Danny?
He calls me Cookie. I used to go by Cookie Robinson exclusively on the NBL. For real.
So that's an OG team, huh? That you guys used to play together at NBL, right?
We didn't play together.
Oh, okay.
We played against each other a lot, but like everybody called me that.
Cookie.
Yeah, and like a lot of my good friends still call me that.
Okay. So you need to get Mark Sherman on board with all these nicknames, so he announces them over the loudspeaker at events.
Yeah, I should get him on board.
That's your next key.
Yeah, with Danny Fahrenheit.
Actually, we might have to do. So we like to do giveaways on our podcast. We might have to do one with this one. We're gonna have listeners pick their favorite Eric Zaun nickname.
Okay.
All right. So what are the options? We have Cookie Robinson, Danny Fahrenheit.
Sounds like he really wants Danny Fahrenheit.
The Van Man. You're rooting for
the Van Man.
Some are a little inappropriate. So we have this game that I play with the boys on road trips where you have to pick a name, and if you call someone by a different name, you have to take your shirt off. But it's really tough because this is playing with like my brother and like my best friend. So if I say like, "Hey, Brian," it's my brother's name. Like, whoa, what'd you say? And then you have to take your. So if you're in like a bar or something or like a restaurant, and you can't put it on until someone acknowledges your shirt. So it's like really long game. But that's how a lot of them these names originated. Some of my favorites are like Reebok Hernandez was one of my friends. I thought that was a really good name.
Solid.
1, 2, 3 Pete.
You've been trying to get that one to catch on.
Yeah.
We had a debate like minutes before our Norseca match. Him and Hagen were talking about 1, 2, 3 Pete, and then Hagen hit him with the 1, 2, 3 repeat.
So your first name would be 1, 2, 3? Last name Pete?
I don't know.
Depends.
Or it's just, you got to say it all at once.
Well, I would say I'm 1, 2, 3 Pete, and then my friend would be like, I'm repeat. So that could confuse some people.
I'm definitely confused.
Yeah. But I just really don't, honestly, I don't like the name Eric.
Okay. That's fair.
So, and that's a big part of your life.
You're an entertainer, by the way. So all the actors get to make up names.
Yeah, right? Thank you.
True.
So,
I think that's
like
fair.
Dwayne Johnson
You
probably
gotta
doesn't
stick with
like
one,
being
though.
called Dwayne, so he's just The Rock.
yeah, for sure. So you should be able to get to pick. And Tony Brownser is one of my...
I mean, you can literally legally change your name. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you just got to pick one and stick with it. And then we all
Like Danny Fahrenheit.
All right, so
Fans don't get to vote?
do fans get to vote, or do you just want to rock on as Danny Fahrenheit?
It sounds like you wanted it. We can do a giveaway for something else.
We can. It's up to
Whatever you guys want.
Danny Boy.
Okay, we'll see how the rest of the podcast goes and figure out what our giveaway is going to be from there.
We'll let you guys know.
But
for now, we're podcasting with Danny Fahrenheit.
I gotta stop saying I realized early that I'm saying a lot. Gotta cut that out.
All right.
All right, this will be a good exercise
nervous.
for you.
It's gotta do better than Chase Frischman. You know?
Totally.
Chase is a big fan of saying okay. He loves okay.
He loves that.
Yeah. The McKibbins gave him some grief for that. Okay.
Like the guy from South Park. Right.
I'm gonna need you to come in on Saturday. Okay. Office Space reference.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, so it's crazy that we're doing this after, if you would have told me 2 weeks ago that I was going to be on the Sandcast after our quarrel.
Our quarrel.
You had a quarrel?
Yeah, big quarrel.
Okay, let's hear
Wait,
about it.
I forgot what we were getting in a fight over.
So, I happen to have an extra queen mattress.
Oh, yeah.
And Travis asked for it. And I said, sure. And so I loaded it up in the van, and I told him where the van keys were. I was sailing at the time. And so he drives it from Redondo to Costa Mesa and drives it back. Like, all right, so I'm helping him out. And I get in the van, and I see I figured he's going to fill up the tank, right? Not filled up. But that's fine. You know, that's not why I did it. I was trying to be cool to him. And then he was like, how much you want for gas? And I was like, whatever you want, man. Like, big dogging him. So I thought he's like from Maryland, like East Coast, or like classy guy. I thought he was gonna like put do something classy, right?
Flowers.
But that's fine. So then a week later, you know, it's a Sunday, and I need to borrow a couple $100 to buy a 1996 Ford Econoline 350. And I asked Travis, I'm in his area, if I could borrow that money, and he turned me down. And I was like, hey man, I just scratched your back, you know. Now you got to scratch mine, and he didn't do it. So.
Now, to my credit,
Did you give him
I
gas
did pay
money?
for the gas,
Oh, okay.
and then I did offer to take you out for Korean barbecue, and I'm still waiting for you to respond to the invite. It's
Yeah,
open
we're
invitation.
going to that.
We're going. We got to get you
sure.
before you go to South America.
Yeah.
Which actually this is a good segue. So tell the listeners what you just bought that beautiful new van for.
Trip to South America with the boys for right after Chicago. Heading down there.
Season-ending road trip with the boys.
Yep.
In a new van.
Well, it's 22 years old.
Sorry.
Newly purchased.
It's a 96 Econoline.
Is it an upgrade from the infamous van that you were living in over the last few years?
No, it's a little bigger. It's not as high, and like the van that I have, the Sprinter is like a diesel engine with like solar panels, and it's kind of tricked out. But this one is pretty bare, and there's a decent amount of problems like with the engine and stuff, but it's like.
It's a good way to start a road trip through South America and Central America.
We're going to get fixed up in Tijuana.
Nice and cheap.
Well, that was one of the reasons that I didn't want to fill your van up. So on the way back from Costa Mesa to Redondo, I didn't start on the first or second or third try. so I didn't want to stop at a gas station and risk being held there. And also, like, didn't know if it took diesel. And didn't know which side of the thing it was on. And I also was terrified of parking the thing, which is why I parked it about 2 miles from your apartment.
That's exactly where the apartment I'm telling you should get it.
Oh, really? In that little cul-de-sac right there?
Yeah.
Dude, that's money.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't blame you at all, but I was a little disappointed when I needed that extra coin.
I just made you go through some adversity, and you came through on the other side.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
That's it. I liked it when, after the first set of our Norseca, you told Avery, you're just like, just a little adversity. Love it.
I think, you said it, dude.
And then I said it after we got red carded.
Yeah.
Just a little adversity.
I was laughing real hard at that.
We're learning a lot about you guys' relationship in the first 8 minutes of this podcast.
We're talking trash.
Travis talks trash, huh?
Yeah, well, so I only can talk trash with people that I'm either really good friends with or know well enough. Like, if I played you and Trevor, like, I would probably talk enough until you beat us, like, had us at 14-7, and then, I'd probably be quiet.
Well, we'd be talking a lot by then. You wouldn't probably have any time to get your words in.
Yeah, so I'm okay with talking to Zaun.
Yeah,
we're pretty good friends. We're pretty good friends by this point.
I wasn't expecting it, and then I was like, all right, well, now I get to talk trash. This is fun. And
it's fun playing with Hagen because he talks plenty too. So he'll give it back. Like if the other team gets riled up, he gets kind of stoked about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but your surprise was pretty entertaining. You're like, are you talking shit? Is this real life?
Yeah, no, that was a fun match for sure.
And it's been, as the whole year has gone on, much different from your first year. You've kind of popped around with a couple different partners. And I know that we only have one tournament left, but if you had to look back on it so far, how would you evaluate the year of Eric Zaun in his sophomore season?
It was kind of like a little sophomore slump, to be honest.
Yeah.
Finishes weren't as great as last year. I think the tournaments overall were a little stronger this year, but kind of bounced around up and down a little bit, trying to switch over to right side a little bit. So little bit of a down season, but I think I learned a lot, which is big, and I'm excited for almost excited for next season, like ready to go, even though we're still,
Yeah, you got a road trip to recover.
I mean, what kind of finish would it take to end this year to make it even better than last year? Because you got one more left, Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, making it to Sunday in Chicago would be awesome.
Right.
I think that would. If we could do that, it would be like, all right, it's a pretty good year. But, I mean, anything short of that, it's still kind of like a down season. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little burnt out.
Yeah.
Like switching partners, long off season, and a lot of adversity. I like a lot of travel. So I am ready to, like, go on this trip to South America and clear my mind and come back, like, clean slate, ready to go.
Just unwind.
And you did a little bit of international travel. Was this your first year doing a little bit of international?
Yeah.
So that's definitely an added grind.
For sure. So like I was in New Zealand and Australia for like almost 2 months. Mm-hmm. That takes a lot out of like your off-season training. Like
totally.
You can't train that much. Then we went to Iran. It's like another week and a half where you can't. China, Mexico, like.
Yep.
Just getting used to the grind.
Right.
So that was definitely good in that respect. And I got a lot more FIVB points. I had like a decent like 2 something.
Right.
Compared to 0 this time last year.
Yeah.
So
it takes a lot just to get started, just to get that momentum in your points for the World Tour. So, yeah, you got a good little start. But, yeah, I think it does definitely add a whole nother, like, it's one thing to be in a good rhythm on the AVP Tour, but to add in the World Tour on top of that and to feel what it's like to bounce between tours and to travel that much is a whole nother aspect. But that's the that's the beach volley life.
Yeah, for
You're
sure.
living it full on now.
Yeah, getting
I
used
like
to the grind and kind of know what to expect a little bit more.
Well, you like the travel, it seems like, because
for
your way
sure.
of resting from the travel grind is to go travel.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's really unfortunate that a lot of these events you go to, a lot of times there's not that much room for fun
Right.
and like
I know.
going to, it's almost brutal, like mentally, like, oh, I'm in these new places I've never been before. I have to fly right back to get to this AVP.
Right. Totally.
So I remember I went to China in June and we had like a little bit, maybe like 18 hours free after we'd done the tournament before the flight. I was like, all right, I'm taking this in the middle of nowhere, like Xinjiang or all those tournaments in China. Like, all right, I'm taking the shuttle back to where the airport is. I'm going to find something to do like, for this next like 18 hours before my flight so I can see something and not just, like.
Right.
I like to always do that.
That's a good call.
Wherever I go. But it is cool because even though you're going to like Iran or like China or like the middle of nowhere in Mexico, it's not like a total loss because a lot of people never get to see that, and you never get to see how they live, and you really like kind of take for granted how great your life is in America.
Right.
Like even though you didn't do anything in Iran, like you still get to see that part of the world, the part that otherwise you.
And
may
like, what other reason would you go there? Like you probably
you're not allowed to go to Iran,
right? So you would never go there. Now you've been there, and I mean, only volleyball would take you there, really.
Yeah, for sure. And America's pretty great. Like you realize that
it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Like everyone hates on America right now. Everything going on, like morale isn't too high, and there's not enough patriotism. But like America's pretty great, and you realize that once you travel. So I was talking to this girl, and she's talking about traveling the world, and she'd never left the U.S. and she's like, yeah, I just don't want to be in the States. Like I just don't think I want to live here. It's like you've never been anywhere.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like you have nothing to compare that to. So
no idea how good you have it.
my mom loves America. She's like super patriotic from Philadelphia, like where the country was founded and stuff. And she's like, I try to make her proud. Like I'm loving America. So.
And I know you're a big experience guy. You mentioned that, you know, the FIVB points have been big, and I know that prize money, I'm sure, was probably a little bit higher just from the additions of the FIVB stuff, but that's definitely not what you're about in the couple of years that I've met you. So, like, what are some of the experiences? You mentioned that you learned a lot this year. Some of your, like, bigger takeaways, aside from having those perspective shifts that you just mentioned.
Well, one thing I learned is my weight goes, like, up and down a lot. And I never really realized that until I was like in the USA gym, like getting weight in. And that's one thing I really want to have down next year. Like I don't want to fluctuate. I want to like get a steady weight and keep that. And I think like I'll like get done a tournament and go to like the Chinese buffet and go on like just like crazy for like 2 days and put on like 8 pounds and like lose it. And like I just love eating, and I like it really does like affect my weight. So that's one thing like I'd learned like really does make a difference in my play. And I want to get that down next year.
Do you want to keep it, do you have like a specific playing weight? Do you like playing a little heavier or a little lighter from where your norm is?
So I've probably never really played under like 198 in like the last couple of years. And this year I was eating like really clean and I got down to like 194. But I think that's a pretty good playing weight for me.
You notice it.
Yeah,
you feel a little better rather than playing closer to 200.
Yeah.
A little heavy, like you feel a little
I feel
slower.
like a little quicker and like the warm up is a little easier. And
totally.
So I want to get down to a more consistent weight next year. But that's a huge thing for that. I really never realized. And then other than that, just kind of scheduling out, just scheduling in general, like when traveling international and like the domestic events, just have a schedule. Like this is when you're going to practice. This is when you're going to lift. Just have that all set out and monitor how, like track how you feel. Like, all right, well I did this, and this, and that's why I feel a certain way. Like little stuff.
Taking it to the next level. I like it.
Is the playing weight fluctuation? Did Cookie Robinson happen to stem from one of those?
Cookie was heavy.
Cookie Robinson was kind of like a tall tale. Somebody, I just heard the name, and for some reason, like people loved Cookie Robinson. Like something about it.
It's a great name.
Yeah. Like, people call me Cooks. I think Cooks is a really good nickname off, but it had nothing to do.
Okay.
Nothing to do with that. But
until Danny Fahrenheit comes along and burns them calories up.
yeah, Nice. Start using that. I like that a lot.
You mentioned trying to transition to the right side. What made you want to start doing that? And it's obviously going pretty well. I mean, you just took third in the most stacked Norseca I've ever seen. Which I haven't seen many, but you have Rosie and Chase and Doherty and Billy, Jake and Taylor, Reed and Jeremy, who you beat. Smashed actually in that match. Was it 18 and 14 to take third?
Yeah, I think so.
So how is the transition to right side going, and what went into you trying to move? Because I mean, pretty damn good on the left.
Well, there's not that many right side blockers. There's none under 40.
Well, you're looking at one
in America besides Uncle T.
I just turned Trevor into one.
Yeah,
split.
Yeah, split blocker. I just feel like it opens up a lot more opportunity to play on the right. There really are under 40. There's not a right side. You got Jake.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I mean, I just figured it would really open up my,
options.
Yeah, for sure. Open up my options, and it's fun over there. Like, I don't really have a cut shot on the left, and everybody has a cut shot on the right, and you can kind of wait and just shoot around and kind of have a little more control if you pass well. If you don't pass well, like, it's tough over there. I feel like I bail myself out on the left, do like a fancy dive spike on a bad set. I can't do that on the right.
You have perfected the art of the falling down spike. That's definitely become his own trademark.
Yeah, I know Phil likes to do it a lot.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, he started it, but it does help because, like, sometimes you want to take a full swing at a ball like that, like you're gonna come landing like weird on your knees. I think it does help to dive, and then it's kind of fancy.
It's like a sellout. You're just selling out for the play.
Yeah.
Fully committing.
Yeah, for sure.
And you did win a tournament on the right. You've had a really busy year. Like, when's the last time you've had 2 straight weekends off without playing a tournament? It's probably been a good bit.
Yeah, I don't think I have.
You won Seaside, which is probably twice as demanding on the body as an AVP, just because the pace of play, right?
Yeah,
the amount of matches that you play, double a limb, right?
32 teams up in Oregon, right? It's one of the biggest. What's it considered?
It's definitely a professional event. Like you and Avery took the equivalent, probably maybe like a 7th, an AVP in terms of prize money.
Possibly. Oh yeah, $5,000.
Yeah, so I mean that's definitely a professional event by any standard.
For sure.
How was Seaside?
It was awesome.
Like, I haven't played there yet.
Yeah, it's a great tournament. Like, the fans are so, like, there's so many of them. They're real drunk, but they also, like, pick a side.
Really?
Yeah, like, way better than, like, an AVP final, I swear. They're so into it.
No way.
Like, really great people. It's, like, really great. They're so excited about it.
That's awesome.
So it's a really super fun event.
And you won Wapaka.
Yeah, so Wapaka, also really great. But their fans are also really drunk. They're just drunk and, like, being drunk. Like, Seaside, they're drunk and, like, really cheering you on and picking a side. So it's, if you watch, like, the Wapaka video, it's just, like the Wapaka final video, you'd see, like, a bunch of drunk people talking. If you watch, like, the Seaside video, you hear, like, drunk people, like, going crazy.
Yeah.
But they both involve a lot of alcohol. Because people are so stoked for that. Like, if you live in the Midwest, like, in Wapaka or wherever, Oshkosh, like, that's like a huge part of your year.
Yeah.
So it's so much fun to go there and just, like, give everything you have, and they're all for it. So those events are a lot of fun.
And the stadium in Seaside looked badass. Like, that's like a legit setup.
Yeah, they bulldoze, like, sand dunes.
Oh,
and everybody
what?
puts chairs, and they bring in couches, and it's really
On the
cool.
sand dunes? That's a great idea.
Yeah.
No,
Dude,
Instead of
it's
buying
legit.
a stadium, you just kind of create it, dig it out.
Yeah,
It's
like old
awesome.
school Manhattan.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. So
What's the best non-AVP tournament of the year? Because I mean, you've played like pretty much all of those little indie ones, right? You've played FUDs. You did 6-man. Did Seaside, Wapaka. Is there any other big ones?
Motherlode, I've played.
Motherlode, you played. I think those are kind of the 5 biggies.
We
that
should
are
have a
non-AVPs.
Sandcast award show, and we give out awards for like
little superlatives.
like the people who went. What did you call it? Indie tournaments.
Yeah.
Who's the MVP of the indie tournaments?
Definitely this guy. You won 2.
And then
You won
we get,
FUDs,
we
right?
get sponsors to donate and
actually,
get a bonus, maybe.
I actually want everyone, like, to be honest, like, Fuds, Wapaka, Seaside, and Six Man.
And you can't play the mother load
All in 1 year?
because it's during Chicago.
Yeah, this year.
Oh, damn.
You've cleaned up.
So indie-wise, you freaking killed
It's been a damn good year for Danny Fahrenheit.
What does indie mean?
Like kind of like not
indie rock? Like, what is that indie
Indie
mean?
film?
sort of like underground, like
Okay.
not associated with anything.
Okay.
It's just kind of like independent.
I like that.
independent. That's what it stands for.
There we go.
Oh, wow. Okay. I would rank it. I would put Seaside number 1, but I was just there, you know? Like,
Yeah, you get recency bias.
yeah. And then Wapaka 2.
What about Motherload? I heard that one's pretty cool.
Yeah, Motherload, the tough thing is it's always during Chicago.
And they, like, don't pay anymore.
So that was apparently a big thing last year. I wasn't there for it, but
Yeah.
apparently there was some controversy.
Yeah, a lot of.
and Pottstown?
Pottstown's fun. But yeah,
Six
Six
Man.
Man's pretty awesome.
Where
It's
does
just not this. It's just so different than Wapak and
yeah.
Seaside. There's no.
Those are real tournaments, right? I mean, 6 man's 6 man.
Yeah,
It's a lot. It's a whole different sport.
for sure. Yeah, it's different. Different animal.
Yeah, I've only been to FUDs of all those tournaments. So I think next year I want to try to branch out. Definitely want to do Seaside next year.
For sure.
The
You should definitely go
Daddy
there.
Hane 4-man in Hawaii.
And the 4-man?
The Daddy Hane, yeah. Got to get out there for that. Outrigger. It's not bad. But none of us are home for it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to do Seaside this year. What AVP was it right before? Hermosa, right?
Yeah, it was the weekend before
And
Hermosa.
and I played Laguna before New York, and that killed me for New York because I got like every single serve, jump serve, blocked the whole time, and then we ended up taking 5th, I think. So we played like 8 matches in 2 days in Laguna Sand. So I just didn't train the next like 2 days before New York, and then lost first round. So I took off of long tournaments before AVPs.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. For me, I've always haven't had that much trouble recovering.
Yeah, well, maybe I should take your advice about playing a little bit lighter. I was checking in at 210 for
How many
Laguna.
times have I told you that?
Yeah.
210. What do you know?
Around that same one. I lost a lot of weight during Hermosa, though, because I had the flu before it, and then we played a ton of sets in Hermosa, and I lost like 10 pounds during that tournament.
I would have thought your weight's skinnier with a bicep vein now. Notice that.
With a bicep vein.
Bicep vein, you're 210? No, it's thick.
I ate a lot of food.
Yeah.
You'll know when we go eat Korean barbecue together again.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked.
We haven't done that in a while.
Dude,
So after
I need to
Huntington,
get in on that. There's some good stuff right here in
Yeah.
Torrance, by the way, for
Dude,
when you move up.
for when I move up,
Me and Zaun are up here,
coming up
so-
in November.
All right.
Sure.
Well, we haven't done that. We did that after his first AVP, him and Ben Vaught's first AVP main draw in Huntington last year, which is crazy to think like how new you still are to the AVP.
Yeah, Manhattan was my first tournament I ever played with you in it. Didn't get to play you, but it's the only time we played against each other, or in the same tournament,
Yeah.
I think. Which is pretty crazy. I feel like
It feels like
haven't
you've
been
been
gone
around
that long,
like basically
but-
forever for the AVP. Like everyone knows you. Like you're a character on the tour, the Happy Gilmore of the AVP, as you want to be known.
the Danny Fahrenheit.
The Cookie Robinson, Danny Fahrenheit, Happy Gilmore of the AVP
Yeah.
tour.
We're going to have to market that a little bit more, I think. We didn't get that out there.
Yeah.
Your whole Happy Gilmore vibe.
I think Happy Gilmore is a role model, and if you look at what he did for golf,
I mean, for years now, everybody's been doing that swing, and they
Yeah.
probably still will.
you go to a
Forever.
driving range, some kid's doing that.
And
Yeah,
someone's wearing a
exactly.
flannel, and construction boots. He broke down barriers.
For sure. So I'd love to do.
You got to make your mark.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to do even.
Maybe you
half of
like
what you've done.
when you get introduced, you always like do something like you break a board over your head or something, and then you go play.
Yeah.
You know.
So what I really
You gotta
like,
find your thing.
I was telling Brooke Sweat in the gym before like a big set, like Brooke just slapped me in the face. She wouldn't.
She'll just run out.
She wouldn't do it.
She'll just run out in the match and just slap
somebody
you.
just slapped me in the face.
Okay.
There's like a big offensive lineman that does that in the NFL before because the trainer just like slap.
He doesn't have a helmet on, right?
No, like Barry. If you Google like offensive lineman slap in the face, you'll see it, and like he just like yell and like, yeah, "Come on hard!" And like, that's disrespect. You know?
Right.
So I think that would be a good move. something
We've
like
seen
that.
Piotr do it.
Yeah.
That was that went viral on Amazon Prime for a while because everyone was like, "Wait, they just won the match and Piotr just rocked this dude in the face."
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. Like, it wasn't even that. It wasn't like it wasn't like hard. I didn't even think about it. I totally forgot about it. And then the Amazon Prime people were asking about it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess that did it." And then I saw it and was like, "Oh man, that looked like kind of bad."
It was a pretty firm slap.
Yeah, it made like a.
It was audible.
Yeah, I would like that. I think I might have to try to get Piotr to slap me in the face.
You know, that's what we should get fans to vote on. What should be your move? Your signature move?
Well,
Trademark.
I do the shooter McGavin sometimes after like an ace.
There you go.
Where he blows the guns. And Seaside is a great venue to be like Happy Gilmore, like.
Right, that's a good point.
Because all the fans are so crazy and drunk. And I did some stuff that Happy Gilmore did in Seaside. Probably don't want to repeat those things. But I was Happy Gilmore in Seaside.
You were having a good time. Now, did you leave? Because so when you embrace a personality like that, sometimes you can leave as the most hated guy in Seaside, and you could also leave as the most loved guy in Seaside because you're just a character.
Yeah.
You mentioned that they were pulling for people on Stadium. Like, were you and Avery the fan favorite, or was that Casey and Adam?
We found a group of the boys that were pulling for us huge. So this guy actually wrote on his chest in Sharpie, like, "I heart Zaun."
That's awesome.
This huge, like, little fat kid.
Huge little fat kid.
Well, no, he wasn't that fat. He's actually really cool. If he listens to this, I'm sorry, man. But like, I was, like, motorboating him like, before serves, like... And
before serves?
Yeah, like, they were real cool. And I was, like, running around and, like, high-fiving all the...
It's like the Waterbury Open.
Yeah, like, I got, like, an ace or something. We switched sides, and I high-fived all the fans, and then I got back to serve, and I was like, I'm kind of tired. Like, I probably shouldn't have done that 100-yard sprint, like, all the way around the courts. But there were, I mean, a lot of people were cheering for, like, Case Beer because, you know, he's got a great body.
15
He's very physically attractive.
That's true.
And a lot of people were. It was fun. I was probably maybe like half and half. Maybe we had a little bit, but they were in for good volleyball, really.
Yeah.
So
damn, I want to play in that.
No, for sure. It would be great if we had a lot of AVP teams there, but you can't make everybody happy, you know. You're gonna do one thing that people are gonna love, and then there's gonna be people that like hate it. So
yeah, it's funny that like a tournament like Seaside, you'll have thousands of fans who just want to watch good volleyball. Like you're high fiving everyone, and then in a tournament where the caliber is like 15 times as high, the Norseca qualifier, no one's there except for like Matza.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, it's nuts. How
it's hilarious just to see that contrast between when you get such a high quality tournament versus when you get a high quality atmosphere.
For sure,
people show up for the atmosphere.
That's what makes it fun, man. Like that's what makes the sport great is the fans. You know, like if you like AVP tournament with like lame fans, like it's not going to be that fun. But when you have the fans that are like real into it and educated, and they make it fun. So, yeah, those tournaments just really make like you get like the love of the game back. For me, I kind of had a rough year, and then going to like Wapaka and Seaside, and just so much fun, and the fans are so into it, and they're so happy, and it kind of like brings it's a good way to kind of prevent you from getting burnt out.
I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's what Adam mentioned, something similar on our podcast with him, because he's been playing AVPs since like 98, 96, I think.
Yeah.
And he was like, you need those tournaments where they're fun and like you want to play well, but like say you lose, you just drink with the boys.
Yeah.
Like it's great. It's just the best atmosphere. It's like the best way to stave off burnout, like you said.
For sure.
Because you're still traveling, but it's not like you're going to China where, you know.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah.
And it's always like a little bit of like the volleyball. So like you're flying into Milwaukee. Like, oh, how do I get from Milwaukee to Wapaka? You don't plan it out. It's kind of like the classic like bum volleyball players just figuring it out. And it always works out.
And everyone just figures it out all the time, too. Like, I still don't know where I'm staying for Chicago. And that's
sleep on my brother's floor.
Done. We figured it out.
He's got maybe even a bed. He's got a room.
At this point, like traveling with volleyball, a bed's a luxury.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've paid for one hotel the entire year. That was the first night in Austin for $35.
Well,
everywhere else you just bum couches.
Now that the AVP pays for the main draw rooms, it's like not as fun.
Yeah, well they didn't.
You know where you're gonna stay.
Yeah. It's not as fun.
Well, for me it is. Like I never know if I'm actually gonna make the main draw. So it's always I stayed on that couch right there for Hermosa, which is great.
There you go.
It's a good couch.
Good luck couch.
Good couch.
There's a nice looking couch.
We mentioned your favorite non-AVPs. What's your favorite AVP stop of the year?
Chicago.
That was fast.
Summertime Chicago morale is so high.
He's trying to get fans for next week.
Yeah. City of Chicago are the real winners. They must put something in the water. No, but really, morale in summertime Chicago.
Yeah.
It's so cold in the winter. They're just so happy to be outside.
Yeah.
It's Labor Day weekend. It's like their last weekend of summer. And they're just so excited about it. So
It's the last hurrah.
I've always liked that event. I've always thought it's really good. Outside of South Bay, Chicago, I think in terms of like how many fans show up and are like really stoked for that weekend, I think Chicago is probably one of the best outside of the LA events, obviously.
The three most popular that I hear all the time, everyone like just understands that Manhattan is everyone's favorite for the most part.
Yeah.
Kind of. But then outside of California,
Yeah,
everyone
everyone's-
points to either Chicago, New York, or Seattle.
Yeah.
This will be my first trip to Chicago. So right now, Seattle's number one for me.
New York's super unique. We've discussed it before. We're not really city people.
Yeah.
But it's the most unique, like the skyline and being on the pier there, and just I think that's a super important and cool stop on tour. And that's what's cool about beach volleyball is every venue, like between Seattle and New York, they're like 100% opposite. The vibe's different, the people are different.
Yeah.
The skyline's certainly different. But that's what's cool about beach volleyball is like I've played in every type of event you can possibly think of. It's pretty awesome.
In places where you would never imagine a beach volleyball tournament to be happening, like Ground Zero in New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, you're pounding seltzer.
He's cracking his...
Yeah, dude. I mean, like sauna for like 25 straight minutes, you sweat out a lot.
What do we got? I'm gonna
3 sparkling waters and a Red Bull.
Yeah. Grapefruit and
I like your
cucumber
style.
melon, which is kind of classy.
I got I'm going grapefruit.
Not as classy, but these are 5 for
Cucumber
10.
melon.
5 for 10.
Yeah, so my roommate and I just buy like 5 cases at a time, and they kill you with that bottle deposit though. I don't know if everybody knows that. Like if you buy a bottle in California, you have to pay 10 cents for every bottle and 5 cents for every can.
Right, but then you can send it back.
Yeah, but
recycle and get your money back.
You just hit you with the Shooter McGavin there too.
Gotcha. I used to do that when I was a kid. Back in Hawaii, we would go recycle for money. For like something off the
Just
dollar
get like
menu.
$20. Yeah.
Yeah, but we would... Well, yeah. It wasn't good because we were taking it from like recycling bins
Yeah.
and then giving it to the recycling people and selling it to them. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do to get
Yeah,
it.
just hustling.
You got to do what you got to do to get a
I'm surprised
McMuffin.
it took this long. What time are we at in the podcast?
35
It
minutes.
took 35 minutes for Zaun to say scam. That has to be a record for the longest conversation we've had without scam coming out.
Yeah, for sure. Scam is anything like a job.
I'm learning a lot here.
I like to call any like money making opportunity a scam. So like if you have a job,
Beach volleyball is a scam.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Totally.
You play volleyball and they give us money.
Oh, I know. We are kind of scamming them.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, we got to like live and everything. That's something, but yeah.
And we still kind of whine about it. It was funny when Tri had his doctor over, we were talking about like how that was the hardest you've had to work for a finish in Manhattan. I was like, yeah, Hermosa was like the hardest $1,000 I've ever made. And the doctor was like, you guys complain a lot. She was like, you think your job is hard. And she has like lives in her hands.
Yeah.
So,
This is my in-home nurse giving me my IVs earlier today
keeping Tri alive.
and teaching me Spanish, by the way.
Yeah.
Gracias, Rita.
I need to learn some Spanish.
Yeah, you do.
ASAP.
You really do.
I was actually on Amazon last night. It was somebody suggested like the 2,000 most popular words in Spanish, and that was $4.95. And then the 1,000 most popular words in Spanish was like $2.50. So I had a big decision to make, and I went with the 1,000. Adversity, if you're missing a word that you need.
Life lessons.
You've mentioned morale a lot on the podcast. And it didn't seem that morale was at an all-time high after Manhattan for you and Piotr.
Yeah, morale was a little low.
So what was going on there, and what are you guys fixing up before Chicago? So we can end on a little bit higher of a note.
I don't know. In Manhattan, it just didn't seem like we really clicked too much. Same thing in Hermes. I guess the deeper sand was a little bit of a... I don't know. It was just different. I thought our first couple tournaments, I thought we did pretty well. In Seattle and San Fran, I guess. Yeah, but I don't know. We just had like a little... went on the decline a little bit.
Yeah, once you're out of the honeymoon stage, then you can start fighting like a real couple, and now you got to work through some adversity.
Yeah, but I've known Piotr for a while. I like him. He's a good guy. So we're going to hopefully finish strong here.
He could certainly be due for a good finish, I feel like.
Yeah.
He's kind of an under-the-radar type of player where sometimes you're watching him and he looks like a guy who could be in Sunday every time. Somehow he doesn't make it there every time. But, I mean, shoot, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys did some work. Granted, now I'm playing, so not if you're on our side of the bracket. But
yeah.
No, we'll see what happens. I think you guys got some serious potential.
I think he plays a little better in, like, hard pack surfaces. He's a little bit of a smaller blocker.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, Hermosa, Manhattan are some of the deepest
Chicago's kind of
tournaments.
medium, right? I wouldn't say it's shallow.
It's definitely jumpers.
Jumpers?
Way
Okay.
different than, I think, way different than Manhattan Hermosa.
Maybe that's why Phil just ate me alive in the final last time I played there.
That's why Nick could split block.
Yeah, that's good point.
Yeah, that's why they split blocked, because the sand was
Definitely.
jumpers.
Yeah, definitely.
Not because Florida State was playing Alabama the night before. And they were super over it.
And they just got back from world champs, and they were like, screw it. I think we're just going to have some fun, and they still almost won.
That's just such a big dog move, though.
Split block.
Like Phil never running up, like, down match point.
Yeah,
Or like,
not like, okay, I'll go now.
Yeah, like, no, it's such a big dog move. You got to respect.
What's the jumpiest sand that we play in on the AVP, you think?
I feel like a lot of the man-made places are kind of the same.
Isn't Seattle pretty shallow?
Seattle was
Yeah.
jumpy. I think that Austin was as springy as it gets.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like San Fran and, like, New York are the same, right? It's the same sand, right?
Not necessarily the same sand. I mean, same. They're both built on piers, and the depth is probably the same. But you'd be surprised on how different it is just on the different grains that they bring in, and who knows where it comes from.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I don't know. I haven't even played New York or San Francisco.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
sure.
Why am I talking about it?
Atlantic City, New Jersey is the
I
most
played
shallow
Atlantic
sand.
City
It's
twice.
so shallow.
That was like my 2 worst AVP finishes ever.
Yeah.
I just sucked there every year, but the partying was amazing. So my most fun stop was Atlantic City, but yeah, we sucked there.
Nice. New Jersey, man. It's great.
Jersey.
Appreciate that.
Speaking of Jersey, I mean, most people know, but that's your hometown, right?
Yeah.
OG New Jerseyan.
Yeah, South Jersey, like 15 minutes from Philadelphia. So, go Eagles.
There you go.
Pretty stoked
Big
about
year
that.
for you.
Yeah, for sure.
I like it.
Trust the process. We're real excited about the Sixers.
He likes to talk. Good old
Oh,
Joel Embiid.
Yeah. Oh,
He's
yeah.
great.
Man,
He's awesome.
he's got a little Happy Gilmore in him, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of the Happy Gilmore of the NBA right
Just
now.
trolls people. Just nonstop trolling.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Yeah, so there was a decent shot. We were going to get LeBron. People said it was like between LA, Cleveland, Philly, like
Yeah.
Houston. But it's all right. LeBron's out of the Eastern Conference now.
Gave it a go.
Yeah, so pretty stoked. Hopefully Markelle Fultz can figure it out.
Yeah. I covered him in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he wasn't great. Well, because he was on DeMatha. So, and DeMatha is like the modern day of basketball, pretty much. So, like, when you're surrounded by 6 guys who are going D1, you really don't really stand out all that much.
Yeah.
And then, so he was a super under-the-radar recruit, and then he just blew up. And his shot's still so ugly.
Yeah.
And sometimes they go, and I don't know how.
Are you following that at all? He was number 1 pick, and then he just forgot how to shoot.
Not him. No,
Yeah.
not particularly.
It just sucks because we could have had Jason Tatum. They traded the number 3 spot. Sorry, no, they traded the number 3 spot to get Fultz, with the Celtics for their first round pick, so they could have had Tatum at 3. Like, they would have been so good with Tatum. But
half the people listening have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
should move on from NBA.
Chase Buddinger's happy. It's funny because when we had Chase on, we were like, is there anything else you want to talk about? He's like, yeah, basketball. He's like, we didn't talk about it at all. I was like, I thought you'd be over.
Yeah, we thought you didn't want to talk about it.
But yeah, it's the first thing you wanted to talk about. And one thing that you wanted to have was some fan questions. And so I'm on everyone's favorite trolling site, Volley Talk. So I'm just going to hit you with them. I'm not going to filter them out for the nice ones because you're on. You can take some adversity. So this one's from 405 Lax. He's a king troll on Volley Talk. He says, what are your thoughts after dumping Ed, seeing Ed win his first tourney basically immediately after?
Well, Ed's a great guy. He's one of my favorite people out here. So I was pretty happy for him. You know, you always want to do better. Like, if you drop someone, like, obviously you want to do better than any athlete's going to want to do better than them. So, I mean, so like that being said, I was still super stoked for him. He's like a really good guy. He's been on the tour for so long. Then I remember the event after was like Hermosa, and we were done playing, and I think we were in like Sharkies or something and watching on the screen, and I was like really pulling for Ed to push to the semi, and like I didn't even realize. And then I was like, oh man, this is how much I like this guy. Like, I really want him to do well now. Like, now I'm pulling for him. So he's a great guy. He's one of the nicest guys, and he really like says what's on his mind and like doesn't really care. Like, he's himself, which is nice out here because sometimes you have people that aren't exactly like trying to be something else or like. So yeah, so I'm pretty happy for him, and I'm excited to see how long he can keep doing it for.
How was it playing with a guy like that early on? I mean, it wasn't your rookie year as a professional because you played NBL before, but it was your rookie year on the AVP. How was it playing with a veteran like him?
It was great. He taught me a lot, and I also didn't have any points really, and he had some points. So we played the first 2 qualifiers, and then we were in. I haven't had to play a qualifier since, which is really nice. But he taught me a lot, and it was great. Just a great experience overall. But then we kind of like started to grow apart, and I wanted to train like crazy, and he has a family and is older, and so and I wanted to play international and travel, and he couldn't really do that as much. So we kind of just grew apart in that way. But yeah, I'm really grateful that I found Ed, and we had a nice little run together. So
definitely.
I'm sure you probably learned a lot, too, playing with a number of different personalities because you played with Adam in New Zealand and Australia, right? Mm-hmm. And then you played with Avery. You won Seaside. You played with Piotr. You played one with Marty. You played overseas with Troy. Who am I missing?
With Timmy B.
What was
New
that?
York. With Baumgren in New York.
Yeah, you played with Timmy Bombs. So you've played with a lot of different personalities and skill sets, and you've had to probably play a number of different roles. Because I feel like every time you have a different partner, you have to kind of adjust your role in that partnership too. Like, what have you learned just from kind of having such a different year in terms of playing with different personalities, skill sets, and having to be a different person with each one?
Yeah, I've played with a lot of people kind of throughout my career, and you know, it's just, you kind of learn as you're playing, especially when you don't have any practice. Like, I never practiced with Piotr, and then you go into a tournament, never practiced with Tim at all, and then you go into tournaments. So you kind of just pick up naturally, like, throughout the tournament, what a player likes and how to kind of deal with them. But it really is totally different from player to player, and I guess that's what I realize is that you really have to adjust.
You can't just go in with the same attitude every time. You kind of got to tweak it and adapt based on the other personality.
I always have to tell everyone repeatedly, like, just set me tight, trust me. Because I think I like getting set tighter than like anybody else, and I don't mind like jousting. So like that's always tough transition.
I like that.
Trust me, just put it tight. Like it'll be fine. Good things happen when it's tight.
I feel like I had to tell Trevor that like 100 times today. We were,
and then he overset you about 20 times.
Yeah, and then it was all oversets. But I'm like, I don't care. Just get me up there. I like that.
It's tough.
Yeah. Well, I know you like jousting so much that I decided to drop my hands in the Norseca qualifier, and you threw it, and the ref didn't mind it.
100%. I threw that ball.
What happened there?
So we went up for a joust, and I knew there was about an 850% chance I'd lose the joust. Because A, I'm bad at jousting in general, and 2, Zaun is a king jouster. So I dropped my hand, like, right as we were about to push. And so Zaun had, like, this was like full throw. Like, full, like, catch and throw. I don't know how he didn't hit the net. And,
Fourth seltzer water.
and this was directly in front of the ref. Like, we were on the side of the net that the stand is on. And I looked at the ref, and I was like, it's open hand tip. And she had no idea. And then not only did she give you the call, she called me on a double, like 2 points later, and then red carded Hagen a couple points after that.
But she caught that ball. That was a tough reffing match. She caught a ball, like, in the middle of a pursuit.
Oh, my God.
Oh, she caught it. Yeah, I saw that on Instagram.
First dig of my career, and she ruined it.
Yeah. So she calls over, like, the head ref, and I go and sit in my player's box, and then she calls a replay, and, like, I'm in the player's box. She's like, is this a timeout? I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you just took that point from us, and, like, you're going to give me that sass? And I actually saw on Instagram somebody put up a story, and it was, like, her, like, with, like, her hands on her head, and, like, the caption was, like, tough day. So I think that probably had to deal some with our match and then some with, like, the other matches. But, you know, sometimes you just have tough days as a ref. It's a hard job. It's a really hard job to be a ref. So I really respect.
Refs are people, too.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll move on to our next fan question. We definitely don't have time for all of them. You were a popular topic for the fans. This is from Kiwi Kid. So I'll only ask the ones that we haven't really touched on yet. He's wondering, what did you think of your NVL experience?
NVL was awesome. It was perfect for a player like me. I just graduated college. I hadn't had much beach experience. And, you know, you get to play in front of paid refs and make a little bit of money and kind of learn how the tour works and learn how to travel. And it was awesome. I can't say enough good things about the NVL. I feel bad for, like, guys like you and maybe, like, Baranek, like, guys coming up. The NVL would be so perfect for you guys. Make some money. Like, just learn how to be a professional volleyball player.
Yeah.
It would be cool if there was, like, a really established...
Like a D-League.
D-League, yeah, developmental tour.
Yeah.
But I guess nobody wants to put on a second-tier tour. Like, no one's proud of that, I guess. Yeah. Everyone wants a bigger piece of the pie.
Everybody wants to be the big dog.
Yeah.
You know?
And we haven't seen Skylar McCoy since the NVL went down. I hope Randy's doing okay.
Legendary Skylar McCoy. You can't hang out with that guy.
I know.
Do you know Skylar?
I do.
He was one of my best friends on the NVL. We're actually playing together, and I have so many stories traveling around with that kid. Like,
we'll save that for another podcast.
Randy, shout out to old Randy.
We'll share those over some pie. We'll move on to our next one. Biggest area of improvement you think you need to make?
Definitely defense. I don't think I'm that great of a defender and want to improve on that. So, for sure.
Well, you're a pretty good defender for not that great of a defender in terms of being a defender and the finishes that you've gotten and success you've had. So I think that's a pretty good mindset just to, I don't know, admit to yourself, like just be honest with yourself. Like, I'm not really getting it done to the level that I think I can. You know, I think a lot of people like to, like, kind of lie to themselves a little bit and just be like, I am good at that. What are you talking about? No, I could do that. Yeah. Rather than, like, no, like, I'm sucking at this. I'm winning because I'm good at these things. But this is where I need to improve.
I'm great at digging high lines. I haven't dug one in 3 matches, but I'm great at it.
That's a good, to me, that's a good growth mindset, just being honest with yourself. It's good.
Well, what specifically about defense do you think? Because, I mean, it's a big topic.
I mean, just kind of like overall everything, like digging hard different balls, staying balanced. You know, I don't have like a volleyball background. Like I started playing beach volleyball late, and I started playing indoor volleyball when I was like 14, 15. So it's not like I have like all those fundamentals drilled into me from playing when I was real young. I played like outside, so it wasn't like I had that many reps, you know, digging balls and throughout my career. So I just don't think I have that many touches or reps or like and that much coaching. So I think just getting used to the game, and I want to get into watching more film. Like I really don't watch film at all. So like want to get into, you know, watching film after practice and like defensive drills and breaking it down. And but yeah, over just everything defense. But
do you have any coaching now? I know every now and then you get out the USA practices, right?
Yeah, not
Aside
really.
from that though, like, have you had a coach on the beach? I know that Ed is like a player coach.
Yeah,
he's like Pete Rose.
No, not really. So the people that got me starting that got me into beach volleyball in Jersey, Quandomania, he was like my coach, Quan, that kind of taught me like everything I knew, and he came out here to help coach a little bit for like a week with my friend Fran Ballatina, who's a college coach now. So they helped me a little bit, actually a lot. They're like really great, but other than that, no, not really. So maybe invest in a coach.
Yeah.
I like Jose. I know he's so busy with summer and sour, but he keeps morale high at all times.
Oh, he's great.
So,
and he'll pour water on your feet while you're on the bench. I love that.
And he's a great podcast guest as well.
yeah, he's one of the boys
He is one of the boys.
for sure.
We have a couple questions here from guest 2. First one is, can you talk a little bit about your famous Pottstown temper tantrum?
Oh, I guess this is a couple maybe like this is like a long time. It's like 4 years ago.
It's still
We were playing and
video of it resurfaces every year.
yeah,
though.
Skylar Del Sol just kept calling my hands.
I
Like
got to see this.
he just didn't want us to win.
You were playing with Dave Palm,
Yeah.
right?
And like there's no way we're gonna win. We played him in the semi and like kind of beat him down
And then he was reffing your
He was-
final.
yeah.
Oh,
And he just kept calling like my hands. And I was just yelling at him.
that's a conflict.
So like
He shouldn't have been reffing that match. First of all,
So,
Seems
for
a little
instance, I learned something from that. So, at Seaside, we played, won't mention any names, but this was like the 9th place match. We lost a game on Saturday, so now we're got to go 9th to 7th to 5th. The team we're playing is taking like 5-minute timeouts, and like it's kind of obnoxious and like super long in between games, like 8 minutes, right?
right?
So I started talking a little bit of trash. Like we were beating them down, and they called a timeout, like a 6-minute timeout. We're like, come on, guys, this is ridiculous. And I got an ace like out of the timeout. And I was like, hey, nice timeout. And why not? I'm trying to be Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
So then they're reffing our next match, and like the like 4th point of the game, they call a double, which like isn't a double, and then an over on Avery, like who just like half jumped and hit it with like his left hand on an overpass. They called over, and I was like, all right, we're not winning this game. This team does not want us to win. These refs.
Right.
So I went and told the tournament director, and they were awesome about it. They were like, yeah, they brought J-Rod over, and then J-Rod reffed, and then we won. But like, when you have a player that doesn't want you to win,
Right.
reffing you, like, you don't want that. So looking back on it, Pottstown, I should have been like, can we just get somebody else? Like,
Right.
But I like Skylar, and that was maybe 4 years ago, and I'm friends with him.
Yeah. You've overcome it.
I think I like, yeah.
You learn, and then you
Exactly.
executed it in.
It was funny
Seaside.
in Seaside. Like, I went and they're like, J-Rod is coming over to ref. J-Rod's the man, by the way. Shout out to J-Rod. Best ref
Silver
ever.
Fox.
Yeah, so now this
Don't
ref is
suck
like,
up to refs. Come on.
now this ref is like, what is this timeout? And I was like, dude, just like shut up, man. Like, I may have used a little more profanities. And then J-Rod comes over, and the ref's like, well, he was saying this, and this. That's a red card. You need to take a point for them. And I was like, you see what I'm talking about, J-Rod? Like, this is why you're here. Like,
Hold
he's trying
on,
to.
hold on. Who was the first person to yell for a red card when Hagen said the F word?
Yeah, and it worked. But like, I was like, he clearly doesn't want us to win. Like, he's not even reffing anymore. He's trying to get you to take points away. So like, that's a problem with these tournaments. You have the team that you just beat reffing you.
Yeah.
And volleyball players are crazy, man. Like nobody
There's not enough public eye on us to like really like care,
Tame it.
right? You know,
Thank
if you're
God,
like on the
because-
NBA scene, you're like, all right, I can't do this because I'm gonna get fined $10,000. It's like
Oh, yeah.
a red card is the worst you can get
yeah.
or something.
I felt so bad for Johnny Manziel when he was like doing nothing. When that summer, his bad summer. First of all, don't do bad stuff in the summer because no sports are going on in the summer. So ESPN's going to talk about it.
Right, that's a good point.
But I was thinking, like, man, the stuff me and Skylar McCoy are doing. if the spotlight was on us, man, we would have been ESPN like nonstop. Like Johnny Manziel is just like,
just going out.
Going to Vegas.
Right.
And like,
Yeah,
I felt so
much.
bad for him. Like,
You and Skylar would have been in rehab. ESPN would have been on it.
yeah, it would have. Yeah, we would have been. We would have taken over ESPN News for sure.
All right, we'll go on to a couple more here. We'll combine these two. So what players have you approached, or what players would you like to play with in the future? Like kind of like a dream partner. And do you feel you would be better with a bigger blocker like a Theo or someone who's a little bit smaller, more mobile?
I think everybody wants like a big blocker these days. There's a lot of good players, and hopefully there's a shakeup soon where I can come in and grab somebody. But I don't know. I don't think I should be saying like, oh, I want to play with like Theo or this. Like that's kind of like stays within like,
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then last one from guest 2. What East Coast players, if any, did you look up to when you were younger and started playing?
Shane Donahue, actually, 100%. He was like the big dog on the East Coast, and
Big fan of Shaner.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So I couldn't get a partner right on the East Coast. I was playing in college, and I told Shane, like, if you play with me in this tournament, like a local tournament, you can have all the money that we win. And he was going to play with Mark Burek, I think. But then it was like, hey, Mark, like Zaun's saying, like, I can have all the money if we win. I'm going to play with him. And then we won. And, I figured he'd give me a little kickback, Like, that's like insurance. Like, all right, we get second. That's fine. Like, then whatever.
Keep it.
Yeah, but, like, we won. No kickback.
A little bonus, maybe?
Yeah. So
little tip? No
nothing,
tip?
dude. Not even
Wow.
entry fee back.
Oh.
So then we play the next week together and we win, and he gives me half. So I tell Shane that he owes me $375 to this day. But yeah, really Shane for sure, and he helped us out a lot when we were coming up. And I remember we were playing. This is not that long ago either. This is like 4 or 5 years ago. Like we would practice with him and Chris Frazier, me and my friend Chris Vaughan, one of my best friends, and we like beat them in a set at practice, and we were like stoked. Like we were so pumped. Like this would be like the equivalent of like beating like Phil and Nick in a set now. Like we were like so like, oh my God, like fuming. That like when you think of it, that wasn't that long ago. Maybe like 5 years ago. So for sure Shane Donahue and like Chris Frazier, those guys.
Shaner, great guy.
He's one of the boys for sure.
Definitely one of the boys. And now he needs those $375 to pay for diapers and stuff. So
Yeah.
That's your contribution.
Yeah. I got that little baby. I'm the godfather.
Are you?
Unofficial because there's no godfather. But I got her a little shirt. I don't know if anybody's been to Southeast Asia. They have like this little, it's called like a tuk-tuk. It's like a moped connected to a carriage. And I got her a shirt that says no tuk-tuk today. But today is spelled like 2 and day. And Shane like never sent me a picture of that baby wearing that. Like, come on. And I also got her my
Shane's really getting on your nerves.
yeah, man, him second. So I got second place in the NVL Ocean City, Maryland. I got a plaque for that, and I gave that to his baby Kira as a gift. And it's not up in her room.
Sounds like you really valued that plaque.
Yeah, I actually don't keep anything I win anymore.
What do you do with it?
Should I give it to like a kid or something?
Yeah.
You gave her
No matter what it is.
no matter what it is. So like I know
Most of the skateboarders are pretty cool.
yeah, I'm giving that. That's like
Giving it
if
to
I win
me.
that, I'm giving that to like a kid. Your kid, if you have a kid.
My kid, all right.
Yeah. You were
I got-
pushing strollers around yesterday.
I got a dog.
Yeah.
There was literally nothing in the stroller.
I
That's a long story. Don't say that on the podcast.
I gave the big check at Seaside to like this kid who was chopping it up with us the whole tournament.
Uh-huh.
Got to think his parents are like so mad at me because it's like a big like bring that in the car. And He was all stoked about it. But yeah,
I like that. So there's just going to be Eric Zaun memorabilia all over the country.
yeah. I never seen the Rookie of the Year plaque that I got. Ed has that. He's like, I'm keeping it. I wasn't at the banquet. It's like, all right, great. I'll have that.
That's funny. It's funny,
Yeah,
like the things just the random trinkets that you can win from tournaments.
Yeah.
Like you had a big check. Did you get any like signature Seaside thing, or is it just a check?
No. I know. Like last year, we got a medal I gave for like some kid. I gave my medal for 6-man to like some kid.
Yeah, I remember after you guys lost to Bockerman and Flugen, you just took your jersey off and gave it to a ball girl, like right there on the spot.
Yeah, dude. They love that stuff. Like it's gonna make them like more happier than it's gonna.
They'll be
make
stoked.
me. So, I think that's fun. That's a fun thing to do.
All right, we'll do one more guest question.
Plus, road dogs don't believe in possessions.
This is from Hustle Slowly. What's your favorite van accessory?
My
My personal favorite's the Snow Tiger.
Snow Tiger's gone. Downsized.
It's gone?
Yeah.
What'd you do with it?
It was taking up so much room.
Yeah, but
So
it's your boy.
What did I do with that? Might be in Ed's garage still.
With your Rookie of the Year flag.
Yeah, into my clothes and stuff. Actually, there's this really good shirt. The front says "I am a martial artist," and the back says like, "Though many can't conceive it, like I stand facing the wind. I am a martial artist." And like everything, it's pillar. It says "I'm a martial artist." And I saw Ed wearing that shirt. It's like, Ed, man, you went through my clothes bag in your garage. Probably I like the solar. I don't know if that's an accessory, but it's pretty. I think it's pretty sweet to have the solar.
Do you miss living in the van, or do you kind of like having electricity and running water?
Well, I'm in it a lot when we Airbnb our apartment, so
Yeah.
I'm in it and kind of like miss it a little bit sometimes. It's nice to get back in there.
Yeah.
And humble down a little bit. But yeah, I like the solar for sure.
Yeah. Sweet. One more. How do you pronounce these? Soleil? Too many seltzer waters.
What?
Just Salil, I don't know. Just trying to say it fast and hope we moved on.
When you drink 5 seltzer waters in a row, it hits you a
Get
little.
the seltzer shakes.
I googled yesterday, is too much seltzer bad for you? And
I've looked into that before, and some people do say that it actually doesn't hydrate you as much as you'd think.
Yeah, the carbonation, I would guess. I don't know.
we'll call it
Yeah.
even.
We'll call it even.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So we have one final question for you. This is not from the Volley Talkers. This is the Sandcast final question for every guest. If you had to give advice to an up-and-coming beach volleyball player, what would that piece of advice be?
So, what I've been doing since it's kind of advice for everyone because everyone can learn a lot from me. Just kidding. So I realized that I might die on my trip to South America. So I was planning this about 3 months ago. I realized I might die. So people say like live every day like you're going to die tomorrow. You can't do that because you just have a big party with all your friends every night.
That's a good point.
It's impossible. So live every day like you're going to die in 3 months. Because like I'd still be playing volleyball, I'd still be training, I'd still be going to these tournaments. I just would care less about little dumb stuff and care less about like, outside things and just, kind of just appreciate like that you have a good life, like your family and I have a great family, great friends. I'm real fortunate about that. And I've seriously been living like these last couple months like I might die in like 3 months. And
Because it's a legitimate possibility.
yeah. So any kids out there, just have a good time. The sport's fun. And if you stress out over it too much, you're not going to enjoy it as much as you possibly could. So just have some fun with it and live like you're going to die in South America in 3 months.
I'll take that advice.
And where can our listeners follow along on your journey to South America?
MySpace. South America road trip with the boys. /MySpace. I don't know. I don't really like to take too many like pictures and stuff while I travel. So maybe I don't know.
Is this going to be one of those trips? Because I know every winter you do a trip with no phones and electricity for like.
No, we're gonna have some phones.
You're gonna. So we'll know if you're still alive.
Yeah, you'll know. Maybe like a post from here and there, but it's not going to be like making some travel blog that people do. Like,
right.
So I just want to say how impressed I am with the boys. They don't have like any notes. I figured listening to the show, Travis would have like a bunch of notes or like his laptop out. He's doing it all from his head, which I think is pretty impressive.
I tried to. The first time when we had Kame on there, I like made it a challenge because I hadn't met Kame before he came on the show. And so I like made it a challenge to have like everything memorized. And Kame was like, "Wait, you just knew that?" I was like, Yes.
Yeah, I remember you pulling up like specific BVB info matches from like 03 to like Phil. Like, well, I see you and.
No, it's pretty crazy what this guy can do. I showed up the first day with like a bunch of notes, and I was like, all right, never mind, I got Travis.
Because you cheat off of him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
He already knows everything. I'm not going to know more.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a weird memory. Like, I'll be able to remember all this stuff. I'll get up to go to the fridge and have no idea what I just went to the fridge for. And I'll just stare at it aimlessly for a couple minutes. I'll go sit down and then remember it when I get to the couch.
You can't remember everything, dude. You know?
It's too full of 2003 BVB match info.
There you go.
Yeah. Who, in my match in the NVL 2015, in the semifinal of... Who did we beat?
I mean, if I had to take a guess, like with the NVL, you only have a couple options, right? So that was when you were playing...
Dude, if you get this right now.
I mean, you would have been playing with Palm at that point,
McCoy,
right?
Skylar McCoy.
You were playing with Rand?
Yeah, then I dropped him.
And he picked up Mark Williams. So that wasn't
and
a bad
then won
pickup.
the next tournament.
Shoot, I have no idea. My NVL info isn't up to date.
I don't even remember.
No one's wrong.
Yeah, that would have been really good if you got that.
Now, is there anything else you wanted to bring up? Anything else you wanted to talk about? Anything that we might have missed about the Eric Zaun just journey?
No, not really. I think you guys did a pretty good job. You covered.
Wasn't as scary as you thought it'd be?
No. I mean,
good.
I got to do better than Chase, and I don't think that was that.
We're going to have an count at the end of the show. Now, we also did promise a giveaway. So this will be a Firefly giveaway, a little recovery device you can put on your knee. So,
Okay.
Zaun, what kind of giveaway do you want to run here?
So
remember, at the beginning of the show, we talked about picking.
Oh, you want me to, like, pick-
picking the nickname?
So, like, if they pick a nickname, how would...
But then they can make an argument for why that should be your nickname.
Okay, yeah. So I get to pick which one. So, okay, so best nicknames.
Best nickname. So let's give
But
them.
no. They got to come up with it.
So they
Ooh,
got to
new
come up,
ones.
or either a new one, or can they give an argument for like Danny Fahrenheit, one that we discussed?
I'd like to hear a new one. Also, I'd like to add Lamb Rivermore in the mix. That year at Pottstown, I told a reporter my name was Lamb Rivermore, and they wrote that in the newspaper. So I went by Lamb Rivermore for a little bit.
That's awesome.
Rice Peterson, like they're all coming up now. All the names we were
Okay, so that'll be our Firefly giveaway.
Whoever
Comment on what?
whoever Danny Fahrenheit choose, or whatever name Danny Fahrenheit here chooses as his new name to potentially replace Danny Fahrenheit because he hates
Yeah.
Eric.
Donnie
Anything but Eric.
Donnie Poison. I had Adam Roberts' girlfriend Jade when we were in New Zealand. If she called me Eric, I would punish her. I wanted to go by Donnie Poison.
That sounds terrible.
So we were like doing a hike, and she called me Eric. She's like, Eric, I need some water. I was like, what'd you call me? It's Donnie Poison. And then she's like, I need water. I'm not messing around, Eric. And I was like, all right, come on. Like, you just call me Eric. So I was like, you got to wait 20 steps. And she came, like, hit me and was like real mad at me.
It sounds like you got punished.
Yeah. Negative reinforcement.
And now you
There you
guys,
go.
I mean, you and Jade are boys now.
Yeah. I really like her. Once we were spending every day together for like 2 months straight.
Yeah,
We kind of got on each other's nerves.
it's a
And
bonding experience.
yeah, but now we're tight. I like Jade.
All right, so to win the Firefly giveaway, comment on the Instagram post that we put up on Instagram about the episode, Sandcast_podcast. Comment with what nickname Eric Zaun should go by and why.
And he will
then
decide who
Danny
wins.
Fahrenheit, Cookie Robinson, the Van Man.
I like them to get creative with their own name, though.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to introduce you. You will
Okay.
pick it. Danny Fahrenheit will
And
choose the winner.
whoever wins, we're gonna get Mark Sherman to announce at one of
Your next
Eric's games.
stadium
His
match.
next stadium
That'll be
match.
what you're introduced as.
Okay, I like that. Because, I mean, if someone says, like, I think you should be Danny Fahrenheit, you're not winning that Firefly.
Yeah,
You know, you got to be creative.
they're just
Yeah.
sucking up because
I like
that's the name you
Yeah.
like.
Exactly.
There you have it.
All right, well, this has been fun. Zaun, thanks for coming on, bud.
Thanks, boys. You guys
Survive South America.
Thanks for the life
We're rooting
lessons.
for you.
class act. You
And the
guys.
seltzer water.
Appreciate y'all.
Cheers.